Welcome to the Precious Stance Blessed Family's Love Stories. I hope this love story will inspire and minister to you. Be blessed.
Hi, sweetie. This is my beautiful wife, Spiwe. We've been together for a year and we're here to tell you about our journey together.
Yeah, my name is Spiwe. We have been together. We have been married for a year now, and it has been good so far. So we are here to answer a few questions and also to tell you about what we have been through. And yeah, life has been good so far, and we are really enjoying our marriage. Brian, do you want to maybe tell people what has been your greatest challenge, you have had to overcome in your marriage? So what we are going to do here, maybe we'll talk a little bit about our past marriages and our present marriages, and also people to let you know that this is not our first marriages. Our first marriage, we have been married before, and we believe in a God of second chances because we've been through so much, both of us. He brought us together for a purpose. So here we are. I'll start myself. So far, the greatest challenge, I can't say we've had any great challenge in our marriage that will cause us to say anything of concern, have we?
No, there's been no huge hurdles. There are noticeable cultural differences which are slowly surfacing, and we talk to each other openly about those, and slowly we come to a resolution, whether it's regarding family and family interactions, or whether it's regarding cultural things as simple as eating habits.
Yeah, those are sort of things, like myself, I've come to deal with, I don't want to call it a racial discrimination or anything. It has nothing to do with skin color, but it has something to do with people's beliefs. People who believe that when a little younger woman marries a little older man, they think the bride is a male bride. It's been imported from another country, and that's the challenge we can say we face at times. People looking at you with an eye that says,
yeah, it's people are judging. For a start, you might think it's interracial judgment, but sometimes it's the age gap. We have not noticed any particular problems with the age gap. I'm fit compared to most adult males my age, and Spiwe and I enjoy each other just the same as if we were the same age.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's not it's not an issue. But the thing is, when we are entering this is the challenge we face at times. That when you are going into a shop, and when you are talking to the teller, like the cashier, they speak to you as if you are a person who is there to enjoy the benefits of your husband who has worked hard his life, and they look at you that way, and they are scrutinizing and looking at you. And Brian at first was so naive until I pointed out to him, and they speak to you slowly as well, wanting to think that you don't understand English. But these are minor challenges. They don't even come between us. They don't even come between us. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't find any issues. I never have seen skin colour. Being a New Zealander, we've never experienced apartheid-like issues. I think the biggest challenge really is the smaller things as far as I say, the eating habits, the ablutions. There were small things like that which keep cropping up, which are noticeably different in between the two cultures.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were raised in different cultures, raised in different environments, and what you do in your own culture is completely different from what I do in my culture. So, yeah, those are the little things that we deal with, and we talk about them, and we always engage each other and point them out, which is not an issue at all.
And the other thing I've noticed is in social surroundings where Speedway's people in a large group socially within the home, there are body language and social protocols which are carried out, and it's all quite subtle, but something that I've become aware of and getting used to over time.
Yeah, like we would go to the, things that I would advise people who are interracially married is just to enjoy each other, never to worry about what people think about about the differences between it, because our difference is noticeable, and we enjoy ourselves, and it's fun at times.
It is. we enjoy teasing people sometimes.
It's so funny times that people just tend to think their own way, and you go along with what they are thinking. Then down the line you say, no, that's not the truth. They don't even know that I'm a professional, you see. And even Brian's family, until he told them my profession and how well I had gone far with my education, that's when those are the little challenges that even when we gathered for the first time, they want to know who you are, and what you have been through, where you have been. Then when you start telling them what you've gone through and what you have been, then you become a little bit acceptable.
Well, yeah, acceptance with the trials and tribulations of life. What strikes me is that all cultures, and I've lived and worked with several, and they all have the same objective. They all want a good family life, they all want to be successful, they all want to have a career where they gather self-esteem and mana, and they want their children to be successful. And it doesn't change. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are on the globe.
Yeah.
And that's the same for Speedway's children.
Yeah. So, because both of us have had 2 children in our previous marriages, and they are now adults.
Yeah.
Brian is a father of 2, and I'm a mother of 2 girls, yours.
Yes.
And a boy and a girl. So, yeah, life has been good. So, we want to know, people want to know, if there is one thing you would change differently before you got married, what would it be? If you have to change something, let's start with your previous marriage. What would you have changed if you?
Well, that's a tough one. What would I have changed in my first marriage?
Yeah. If you knew then,
I think we would have waited longer. We were very young when we got married, and we should have spread out the time before we made the commitment. So as time went by and marriage was going well, and things slowly drifted apart as my career grew. So that was my feeling as I look back in time. I certainly wouldn't change anything. I produced 2 beautiful children with my wife at the time, and we had a fun and healthy lifestyle at the time, and so I can't say that I would change anything.
Yeah, as of me, I have the same feelings that I had beautiful children out of that marriage, but I would tweak out a lot of things, that the red flags I saw, because most of the things we see red flags and we don't even pay attention because you are mainly in love.
Yeah.
You don't pay attention to those things, and you don't even care what other people are saying about those red flags. I would change those. I would change all that, like the Bible says, do not be unequally yoked. And my belief is the yoke the Bible talks about is not about someone belonging to the other denomination. They are talking about the belief system, whereby your partner or your husband or your boyfriend believes something that is totally different from you. Because myself, I really love family, and I love marriage. I love being married. But after my first marriage was a little bitter for me.
Well,
but this one, is what I really wanted all along. And when you marry somebody who doesn't believe in the things you believe, that means you are unequally yoked. Then the marriage will fall apart. I would treat that, because when I was in courtship that time, I would hear little things that were against the marriage vows, that were against the family
values and
belief system, but I didn't pay attention because I was in love. So those are the things I would change. So when I left that marriage, it was my decision, and against the culture, to leave that marriage because of what had happened. I waited for 25 years for you.
Thank you, sweetie. We've been blessed, absolutely blessed. We both know it. We were both put together by God without a doubt. There was no internet matchmaking, nothing like that. Neither of us were actively looking.
We were 9 miles high in the air. Look at me, where are you shy?
To be seated together next to each other
in an aeroplane,
and to talk and talk and talk as if we knew each other for 20 years, and to find so much in common in our belief systems was amazing.
Where were we?
And we were in an aeroplane between Brisbane and Townsville. And I was coming up here to visit family and go out back and have a bit of fun with the brothers. Being a widower, I was single, footloose and fancy free, but now no longer. And I'm really reveling in the fact that we've been put together, and I've got purpose in life, and that purpose is to be a grandfather and a poppy to all the younger kiddies,
and to be a good husband,
and to be a supportive husband to Speedway who works full time.
Yeah, it has really been a good journey. That's the beauty of meeting the right person at the right time. When I look back, many single women are anxious. There's a little bit of anxiety about being single, but I learned, because I became single when I was 33, and I met Brian when I was 56, and I wasn't looking, and I was just busy with God's work. Most of the time we lose the plot and run with what people want us to do instead of asking yourself what you want to do. So most of the time women are pushed to do certain things that they don't want to do. So in this instance,
it's once we were serious with each other, I said to Speedway, honey, do not change who you are, do not change the good work you are doing. You are the person who you are and who you've become, and you are doing astonishingly good work. So I wasn't here to come and take charge and to stipulate rules and how to handle the household and all of that sort of stuff. So I made it easy as I could for Speedway to love me, knowing that she could still carry on being who she was.
And it's not difficult to submit to a man who fears God, to submit to a man who loves a woman the way Christ loves the church. And I feel I am a real bride who is loved without reservations, without questioning, and I am really, really blessed in that department. That this time around, people say there's nothing that is perfect, but I want to say it's really good. It's perfect. It's like really matching.
Thank you, sweetie.
And it's really good. And yeah, these are the things that like the culture, if I speak from an African perspective, they always teach us to hang in there even if things are difficult, even if your other half has been unfaithful. They always say that's what men do. But I'm sitting beside this man who says no. When it happened to him, he didn't want to stay there because it's very difficult, just as well as me, just as me too,
We both believe exactly the same thing as far as
unfaithfulness.
yeah, that sort of thing goes, unfaithfulness. So you're probably describe it as strictly conservative Christian values, although forgiveness is high on the agenda as well, looking back, but you cannot live like that, you cannot live a life like that. You have to be true to yourself and your own set of beliefs. And that's where the match between Speedway and I has been blessed. We just stumbled across each other, but then there was a quick realization that we both had the same belief systems.
Yes, and we are talking because most of how we do and how we do things and how the marriage works in our society is like we go with people's norms, with what they believe. And at times the Bible is quoted out of context about divorce and marriage and all those things, and people judge you and they want you to feel guilty about divorce and everything, which is not true anyway. God, I know it's controversial, but God permitted it because of the hardness of men's heart. If the men's heart, by men I mean a human being, if the men's heart or human being's heart is not hardened, God wouldn't have permitted it by allowing Moses to give a certificate.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, how the Bible is interpreted by different people is their business. And I'm not justifying divorce, and I'm not saying divorce is good. It's bad for everyone who is involved. You feel bad yourself, you feel bad for your parents, you feel bad for your kids. It just destroys everybody. But people, we stop looking at we only look at the results, don't we? We don't look at that which affects the result, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so we really, they've been blessed. Smile, why are you saying? And the next question would be, what is the good and bad things of our culture that we think people should be aware of before marriage?
Wow.
Your culture is completely different from mine. My culture is
it's changing so much
Yes.
since the 1970s when I married. Most young people these days don't believe in keeping themselves clean, virginal. They will rush out and experience life in all its different forms and tend not to marry until they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Whereas in the 70s and late 60s, we were getting married at 17, 18, 19 and 20 and producing children by our early 20s. Completely different set of circumstances within our own cultural society at the time. Now there's an amorality which clashes with the morality of the times when I grew up. There's an amorality which encompasses all things, which is materialism and the having of instant gratification. So it's been a steep learning curve watching society change over the years, and it's been somewhat of a scary process watching how young people have been affected. That's my culture.
Yeah, like myself, the good thing about my culture, even up to now, people are being encouraged to keep themselves pure. But the society has completely had a 360 degrees turn, and people are behaving differently from the way my age group and other women have been raised.
And as a result, I see and hear a lot of young women ringing you and asking for advice.
Yes, and it has been a journey, honestly. Then the good things of our culture is the community.
Yeah.
The community and the aunties, the uncles, and everyone being involved, giving you direction on what things to do and what to do, things to look for in your marriage and things not to look for in your marriage, how to behave in your marriage, all those things. My culture is really rich in that sense.
Yep.
That it's when you get married, it's everybody's business to make sure you transition from being a young girl and into marriage. And I love that culture, that side of my culture. The bad thing that I don't like about the culture is the push that comes when you are coming to the age of 21, 22, 23, 24. And if you are 25 and above, they think you're old, you should get married. They start pushing.
Wow.
They start pushing, and that kind, like myself, my first marriage, I got married at 30. And it was unheard of during my time that a woman would get to the age of 30 without being married. But if I was not listening to my church, to my parents, and to everybody, I would have waited longer for me to be mature spiritually, because I was spiritually immature. I had come from a certain place where I was confused about my spiritual journey. I could have waited. These are the things. This is the part of culture I would change. I would be aware of that. I am doing that with my daughter as well, not to push her to get married, to give her freedom to really be who she wants to be, and to make her own choice freely without me whispering a word in her ear that it's time for her to get married.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of people should, especially mothers and parents, I can say parents in general, and the church at large, should stop pushing and comparing girls so that they can get married. And then I always teach young women, now that I'm in that position of being able to give advice to young women, that marriage is not an achievement. It's not an achievement, it's a process. You have to continue. You are processed. It's a process. You only stop being processed when you die.
Correct.
You only stop being processed when you die.
Growth and development.
Exactly.
And doesn't matter whether it's career-wise or spiritual-wise, continues and continues and continues.
Yes. So a lot of us are led to believe that marriage, when you get married, you have achieved something. When you achieve something, you relax, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you have accomplished what you wanted to do. But in marriage, you don't relax. You keep on spicing it. You keep on You keep on developing it. You keep on looking for ways and praying about your marriage to remain intact. Those are the skills I didn't have. You know, these are the skills that are impacting on other women, that you should develop these skills, especially to the young girls, to the young women who are preparing for their marriage or who think they might be married in the near future, that you have the skill of praying for your marriage. And when you get into the marriage, don't relax, because most people relax thinking they've achieved it.
And they've already reached the pinnacle?
Yes.
Okay, and I can relate to that, because in my culture it was, once you married, it was then all about materialism, career and possessions. And to this day, I think in Western culture, that's still to the fore. It is unusual to see a happy, relaxed couple who are happy in Christ and with their spirituality and happy with what they have, rather than trying to accumulate more and more wealth. And to me, as I've matured and grown, that's a realization that's come with time. To be perfectly relaxed when you think you're in a state of grace, and when you feel like you're in a state of grace, you don't feel pressured to go out and achieve a whole lot more by way of accumulating and accumulating and accumulating.
Yeah.
So you can then be free to work on your own relationship with your better half.
Yeah, you know, like that brings us to finance. How do we handle our finances? What is yours is mine, and what is mine is yours.
Yep, absolutely. But in this modern day and age, I think it's slightly different again from when we were young. This day and age, you can have both of the couples working, the husband and the wife, and that's the norm these days. In my time, it was not the norm. The man was the breadwinner, the wife raised the children and kept house, and I suspect that was the same for you in your time.
Not really, we were both working.
Oh, there we go, you see?
Therein
lies the age gap.
both earning good money. We were, you know, like what, this is why that first question that said, what would we have changed? We should have had time to put our effort in our marriage instead of chasing material things. Because when you get married, it's like you have achieved something, then you concentrate now on your careers, and someone staying at the office more than they are necessarily staying there, and you know, and he's not alone in the office, he's got a secretary there, and you can imagine what happens there. So it's really finances can be good and can be bad if you don't handle them properly. So as for us today, we don't have issues as far as finances are concerned, because we are using the experiences of the past to bring them into the future.
Yeah, but
and also to bring into our present marriage, because remember, you know, you being the breadwinner before, as you say, you just brought the money home, and
yeah,
the other partner used it.
Yeah, absolutely. But in my time again, there was goal setting, and it was usually revolved around, obviously, a home, a roof over your head, and all the accoutrements that are in a home, as far as furniture and stuff, and then of course your transport. But other than that, there was a real sense of trust. One income was divided up between the two of us. There was only one joint account, so trust was a big thing. There was never an issue financially as far as ever being out of finances. There was always the money, because you had goals set in concrete, and you also had savings plans, so that if anything ever came up by way of emergency, there was money set aside.
Yeah, but now we don't have any issues. Like, you are retired.
Yes, completely different now.
Yeah, it's completely different. You are retired.
Yep, you are the breadwinner.
Yes, but you have an income too.
Yes.
Through your pension, and we don't
We don't suffer.
We don't suffer. We don't have a problem. You know, like we don't say, "This is your money. This is my money." We just
absolutely.
Our money is our money.
Absolutely.
Our money is our money, and we don't separate. We don't do things separately because we are married, and we don't feel like we have issues with our finances. And a little advice to the other women as well, that most of the times we feel like when we are working, being breadwinners in the home and all that, we feel pressured to do
Wow.
to feel important. But we are.
Oh, that was something I wanted to touch on status between the two couples. Again, these days, the status between a man and a woman should be equal. In my earlier days, it wasn't. The man was looked up to, and he'd established himself within a community as been full of respect and someone of mana or authority. The woman was the wife at home. So there's a big difference culturally now, where women are much more equal to men. I won't say they're fully equal to men just yet, because they're still carrying on their good fight.
Yeah, but in our marriage, it doesn't. You have to. It's not noticeable in our marriage.
No.
It's not. We don't. Yeah, because we. I think you love me, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
and
there's no difference.
We are in love, so we don't have these struggles of saying, "Oh, I have to have the rights in my house and this and that."
Yeah.
Do you feel that way, or?
No, not at all. We're equal. I completely enjoy being retired, and I completely enjoy supporting Spearway in all her endeavours and all her career moves at work, which really simply consist of carrying on the good work she does in a managerial position at Townsville Hospital. So that kind of relationship, as you mature, becomes much more equal. There's no differentiation between us two as far as status. There's no such thing in the home.
In the home, yeah. You know, like Brian will stay at home, and when I come back, the food is on the table and the house is clean, and I don't. And when I am off, you know, like I don't even feel like I'm obligated to come from work and cook for him and do all these things. It just flows. And when I'm on the weekend, I love my kitchen. I just go into the kitchen and cook because I love to serve my husband, and we will do things together most of the times. And
I think
I'm becoming lazy. You've spoiled me. I'm becoming lazy.
I think we're blessed at this stage in life because the grandchildren haven't arrived yet, but other children within the church community and the family community don't reside here for long periods of time. So we're spoiled having time out together, despite life's trials and tribulations and work schedules and COVID and all of the above. We are blessed to have time together privately.
And you know, like when it comes to in-laws, Brian, can you tell them about your family? You were 8, are you?
From my first marriage?
No, you know, like the number of your siblings. You were 8, you're the firstborn.
Oh, okay, yes. Yes, I'm the oldest of 8 out of us siblings. So I always had a sense of responsibility and a caregiving gene thrust upon me. I thought.
So by you being the firstborn, you kind of, all your brothers look up to you. So in terms of my in-laws, like brother-in-laws and sisters-in-laws, they are actually respectful to you, which gives them kind of respect to me.
Yes.
Because of me being your wife.
Yes.
Yeah, so in that department of in-laws, I don't have any problems. And Brian has to meet my brother yet, because we have spoken on the phone, and I've told him that my little brother is little to me, but in my culture, even your brother is your little brother. he's like the head of the family at the present. It's only him and I left, because we were 6 born of our parents, so 4 have gone to be with the Lord, and my mother and father have died. And you also don't have your mother and father, but you have got your 4 siblings, is it? 5 siblings?
Yes, 5 siblings remaining.
5 siblings remaining, and I've got only 1 sibling remaining. So, COVID had jealous to us. We wanted to visit Africa so that Brian can meet my brother. But in that sense, myself, I interact with Brian's family a lot here. We haven't had any issues or anything. But even in my previous marriage, I can proudly say, and I can publicly say, I've been a very good daughter-in-law to the grandmother of my children. And up to now, even though I am no longer married to her son, she is still my mother-in-law for the sake of my grandchildren. And we interact with my sisters-in-law from that marriage. They are my friends. I never had problems with where I was married before and where I am married now. I've learned to live with other people according to how my people taught me how to live with my in-laws. Most of the times, what I can say, what I tell women is, you don't die or you don't kill yourself by understanding. If you understand that you were not born in that family, the way they behave, the way they talk, the way they do things is not part of how you were brought up. If all women could understand this, there will be safety in marriage where they are married. Because most of the times we want to walk into people's lives and we want to either change the way people behave or get taken in or get frustrated by the way they think about us. What they think about us is their business. It's not my business. But what I can say is, the Bible says, try by all means, not try, actually, Paul instructed us to live at peace with everyone. This includes also in marriage. Try by all means to be at peace with anyone. Most of these problems we face in culture, we face fights with our in-laws or anything, is because no one wants to humble themselves. No one wants to just be low there. There are some people who are wicked in nature, who do not appreciate people in nature. That's who they are. And we can't change them.
That word humbleness is the biggest thing that I've learned in the last 20 odd years.
Yes. You have to be humble. You have to be full of humility so that God can lift you up. And you have to be also a person of prayer. And one thing I want to say is, if you don't pray together as a couple, when you face problems with your in-laws, you can't be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
You can't be able to talk about your feelings. You know, like myself, I can safely say, when I am in a family gathering, because I will be the only person of color in that gathering, people tend to ask me what I call to Brian silly questions. And they tend to, you can see by their body language that they are kind of, but I always talk to Brian about it freely because we pray together, we understand each other, and I'm free to talk to my husband to say, oh, this is how I'm feeling because this is how they behaved and I'm feeling this way. And Brian will say, oh no, honey, this is not the way, this is only this because of that. And we talk about it. You have to learn to talk and discuss things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So our love story has been one of a kind. And ongoing and
uplifting and an example to the younger woman.
Yes.
And young men.
Yes.
I find a lot of younger men are now warming to the concept of an interracial marriage. I got quite a few sideways glances for a start. But there's also other considerations which are hard to get your head around initially, but as time grows and closeness becomes even more closer, it becomes apparent to the younger people that we are truly an example of what a good marriage can be like in later life.
Yeah, and we want to thank God that He brought us together in the later stage of our lives. It was good, especially for me. It was a good wait, a 25-year wait, and
Yep.
I got the best.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
And I think you did too.
Yes, of course.
No, I don't want you to. I don't want to put words in your
Oh.
mouth.
I've told you I'm blessed, and I feel blessed every day.
I don't want to put words in your mouth that I'm good for you. Yeah, but it has really been wonderful, and thank you very much for listening to our love story. And we want to continue helping young women and young men, and that's what we do in the present moment. That's what God has called us to do. So,
And we know that young couples are under intense pressure these days, so we pray for marriages routinely.
yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you.